Hello. Hey. What's going on, guys? Let's see. Gotta make sure to do the audio test. Testing, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Let's see. Go and listen to the audio real quick. Okay. I think the audio is pretty good, so let's do that. Alright. Let me fix my eyes real quick, and let me do my introduction. Greetings, creatures and humans alike. I am Magi Q Dog, and I am here for part 2 of the previous stream. Let's talk about anime. But yeah, basically put, I was able to get through A through M, but the stream was taking up way too much time, so I had to split it up into part 2. Man, I should have drawn a part 2 thing on here. Oh well. But yeah, basically I'm just gonna continue it up from last time and stuff. In case some of y'all haven't noticed, I was able to name off all the anime that I've seen, and I started from A to M, and now I'm gonna finish it off with N through C. Oh yeah, gotta move my straw hat a little bit because there we go. Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to talk about that part. You guys are gonna realize that I have a favorite anime, and if you guys can't tell what it is from this, then I don't know. Anyways, I think I'll wait a little bit before getting started. Let's see, what can I talk about? Guess I could talk about my job for a little bit. Let's see. Today was a little bit stressful. Basically just had to get stuff from the truck and work it a bit, and it took a lot longer than expected. But after I get them all checked off and stuff, I was just able to shut down everything in my department and was able to get it fixed up. So I wasn't really worried that bad. Don't think anything else happened on that much today. Then again, it's not the most exciting job in the world. That's got its moments. Let's see, like oh no, I want to wait about telling that story until I get a bigger audience. Yeah, I'm gonna wait about that. Let's see. Oh, gotta get a drink of water. Water. There we go. Gotta get some nice refreshing water. Wow, this is a very exciting stream, isn't it? Alrighty, guess I'll go ahead and get started. So, the last anime I talked about was My Senpai is Annoying, which is basically slice of life and stuff and all that. So, starting with the N, we got Naruto. Basically, it's one of the big 3 of Shonen Jump. Don't really think I need to explain it all that much, but basically, you got Naruto Uzumaki, a ninja who has the nine-tailed fox sealed inside of him, and he's trying to become the Hokage, which is basically like the leader of his village. And it actually split up into 2 parts, which is the next part, Naruto Shippuden, where he comes back from a 2-year training arc where he's a teenager now, and he fights against the Akatsuki's and Madara Uchiha. But yeah, it's a pretty good ninja show. Then we got Naruto's Walkly Ninja Pals. This is one of those animes where I did have to drop it because it was just becoming so dumb. Basically, it's a spin-off parody of Naruto, except they just do all kinds of stupid stuff. I wouldn't really recommend it to people all that much. I mean, even with me being a big Naruto fan, I just couldn't get into it at the end of it. Okay, next up is an anime that deserves a second season. And that is No Game, No Life. It's an isekai kind of show where Sora and Shiro, who are stepbrother and sister, they were able to get isekai into a world where playing games makes up the rules, which is perfect because these two are major gamers. And this anime deserves a second season. And needs one. Please, studio, make it. Wait, what's the studio that make it? Let's see. Give me just a second. Let's see. Oh. No. Oh, it's Madhouse. So. Madhouse, you need to make it. Okay. What's next? Ah, yes, No Gun Life. This is kind of set in a, not really post-apocalyptic, but kind of like that in a steampunk future where you have the main characters whose name is eluding me. I mean, give me a second. Let's see. I know the name of the character. I just can't think of it. I think it starts with a chi. No, Chinso! It's Chinso. And I remember right before I look it up. But yeah, you have him, and basically he's this special type of person who is called Extended, which are basically people that are cyborgs. And Chinso is a detective who has a head that is a gun. You cannot make this up. It's actually a pretty good anime. It's kind of like a noir setting anime style. I really like it. Let's see. What else? Oh. Nobunaga the Fool. Basically this is a story of Nobunaga Oda? Or is it Oda Nobunaga? Oda Nobunaga is an anime revolving him, except it has Gundams, which he pilot one, and a bit of sorcery. And of course, it had to deal with rebelling armies, and I think the British gets involved for some reason. But yeah, we'll see. Oh, here is a underrated anime that I would recommend to people. Nobunagan. Gun. Chi-U-N. Nobunagan. Basically, you have the, give me a second. The main girl's always, okay. So, you have the main girl, who is Shiro Ogura, who is a major dork when it comes to military and weapons. And she finally ended up getting a friend until they're suddenly attacked by an alien race that looks like ancient prehistoric creatures from the sea, which are aliens. But she's able to fight against them because it turns out that she is a reincarnation of Nobunaga and uses weapons that are related to guns. And I'm talking big ass guns. You know what they say, as Alucard would say, I don't think I can really say it, but we love cannons. Yeah, kind of like that. But anyways, I actually recommend this anime. the story is way out there, but it's really good. And the voice actors, they actually have accents that make them sound like they're from the country that the characters represents. Like you have the incarnation of Jack the Ripper, Jack the Ripper, who really sounds like he's from England. You have the one of Isaac Newton, which she sounds French. Then you have the Gandhi guy, who really sounds like he's from India. I really like this. I highly recommend it. In fact, I'm thinking about doing an art stream where I draw Ogura on there. Of course, I gotta figure out whether I'm safe to do that because of copyrights and stuff. I don't know how well that's do in streams and stuff, so I'll figure it out later on. Anyways, continuing on with the list. It's the list. Let's see. Noragami. Oh yeah, this is the one where the girl, she almost died, but she's able to cross over into the spirits and stuff. She has a spirit form, and she's with, what was his name? It starts with a Y. Hang on, I'm gonna have to look this up real quick. In case you guys don't remember, I have a terrible time remembering names and stuff. I am way better when it comes to the faces instead of the... Ah, Yato! He's a delivery god that's trying to get his own shrine. And you have the main girl, which is Hiyori, that's able to become like a spirit and stuff, because Yato felt bad, so he decided to resurrect her, but she's kind of stuck in these two forms. But yeah, it's a really good one. I recommend it. Oh hey, we got someone! Hey! You haven't missed all that much. I'm just continuing on with the previous stream. I already mentioned how I was watching Naruto Shippuden, Naruto Rock Lee Ninja Pals, not really a good one. No Game No Life, No Gun Life, Nobunaga the Fool, Nobunagon, and I'm now done with Noragami. Next up is the Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan. I really like this one. It was pretty good too. You basically have what was his name? I want to say Rise. Why do I think it's Rise? Let's see. Oh. Rikuo. Hey, I was kind of close. It was an R. But yeah, he's basically 3/3 human, 1/4 yokai. And he's pretty much the one in charge of his house, which has like a bunch of yokais and stuff. And it turns out that he is a grandson of the powerful yokai, give me a second. Oh my goodness. Come on. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Nurario. If I'm pronouncing it right. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing it right. Basically, he's the yokai that's able to sneak into people's houses and grab himself some sake and stuff. And he has like a big massive head. But in this anime, he's like a really powerful yokai. Which if I remember in Japanese myths, all he really does is sneak into people's house and kind of go through their stuff. If there's anyone that's from Japan that knows more about this and stuff, will you care to let me know? Like, I know I'm a supernatural creature and stuff, but you know, there are so many mythical creatures I can't keep track of every single one. Why do you think I got all these books down here? It helps me keep track. Anyways, let's move on. Next up is One Piece. If you wanna be my friend. Okay, I gotta stop that. This is probably my all-time favorite anime. It has always been up there in the top 10. It was second place, but now it is in my #1 spot in my heart. Basically, you have Monkey D. No, I gotta start this right. Gold D Watcher. The man. Crap. Hang on a second. I am going to do this right. Let's see. Wealth, fame, fortune. Gold D Watcher, the king of the pirates, achieved this and everything else. Before his... I am already messing this up. What is wrong with me? Let's see. You're gonna have to give me a second. Okay. Wealth, fame, power. Gold Watcher, the king of the pirates, attained everything this world has to offer. And so, many men head for the Grand Line to find the great treasure he left behind, the One Piece. The world has truly entered a great pirate era. Wearing the straw hat sworn upon him by the great pirate Shanks, Monkey D. Luffy heads out to sea on a journey on the road to become king of the pirates. But yeah, and then you have Gold Watcher be like, "You want my treasure? You can have it. I left it all in one place. You just have to go find it." I really love this anime. It has a fantastic world building. Like, I have not seen any other anime that has a bigger world building experience like One Piece does. And it is also character driven. Like, Oda has created so many different characters, and yet they all feel so relevant and stuff. Like, you got the main cast that is the Straw Hats, and you have other pirates like the Heart Pirates with Trafalgar Law and Kid of the Kid Pirates. You have the Marines, which include the Admirals. You have the Yonkos, or the Four Emperors of the Sea, which they always seem to change out. You got the Seven Warlords, or the Chikibukais. And then you have like all the other characters that the Straw Hats meet, from Fifi all the way up to why am I having a brain fart on this? Rebecca. To Rebecca, yes. Okay, so I am a really big fan of this, like I said, because I have read the manga, I have watched the anime in sub and dub, I have watched a lot of their movies, and I watch a certain YouTuber who is considered an encyclopedia of One Piece. If you know who he is, it's good. And in case you don't, it's Tekken 101. By the way, go check him out if you don't know who he is, because he is big on One Piece, and I love watching the dude. Let's see, I think I took a good chunk of time on the One Piece, so I better get off of it. But basically, it is really good. You know, I might actually do like a separate video where I talk about One Piece and why I love it so much. But anyway, so let's go on with the anime list. One Punch Man. My punch! Okay. So, it's a comedy show, a superhero show. You got Saitama, who is considered the One Punch Man, because he has grown so powerful that he's able to defeat enemies with one punch. But because of that, he kind of lost part of his humanity and is absolutely bored. It's one of those animes where you kind of follow around more of the side characters instead of the main character. Really funny, and I'm caught up with the manga on this one too, and I just can't get over it. I'm sorry. if you haven't caught up with the manga, spoiler warnings and stuff, but there was kind of a funny scene between him and another character where it's like, need to watch where you're reflecting those rocks, Chrome Dome. Why'd you say drip? Oh my goodness, that is so funny. Nobody help. Alright, give me a second. Oh god. No matter how many times I read it, it's still funny. Okay. 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 Okay, so, but yeah, it's a really good anime. I recommend it, especially the manga, because the manga artist that draws it, he is fantastic. I wish my drawing skills were as good as his. Anyways, next up is Overlord. Pretty much another isekai anime, except you have the main character turning into an absolute villain. You have Ain Song Gon, leading his people in his Nazarick to try to pretty much conquer the world that they have inhabited. Really recommend it, it's pretty good. Next up is Pandora in a Crimson Shell. This one has like a rare premise to it. I know there was like the main girl who befriends a cyborg girl that's kind of like a maid, and they deal with some trouble and stuff. So in order for them to fight, the android girl kind of fuses with the girl. It's weird. It's weird. Like, they do like this whole transformation kind of thing where both of them are like strip, come together, and makes a fighting duo. It's a weird anime. Anyways, next up is Parasite the Maxim, or Parasite for short. This one is pretty good. Give me a second, because I can't remember the main guy's name. I know there's Iggy, which is a parasite that affects the main character's hand, and the two pretty much have to survive because other parasites, which controls the bodies of others, will it's kind of like a world conquest kind of thing. And if they see them, they would consider them as defects and try to off them. Give me a second, I'm going to check up the main character's name. Oh, Chinichi! Yeah, that's the dude's name, Chinichi. Chinichi. Anyways, Persona 4 the animation. Basically the anime that is based from Persona 4 game. Basically you have the main characters that enters into the TVs, into this TV world, and they try to save people and stuff because apparently at around midnight or so, or at a certain time during the night, there'll be like this commercial where it shows like people and stuff, where it's like them complete different personalities, and if they don't do something to defeat like their dark personas in those TVs, the main dude is died. I mean the characters died. It's pretty good. Next up is Plunderer. This is an anime that kind of surprised me. You pretty much have the girl Hinata who's trying to look for one of the... Let's see, what do they call themselves? I swear, I have seen these animes, I just can't remember some of the plot sometimes. At least I remember the main girl's name, Hinata. Let's see. Oh, it's Hina. Okay, I take that back. Apparently, I can't remember characters' names whatsoever. But yeah. Yeah, she's looking for one of the legendary Ace, which are like these powerful warriors. And she come across the one which is Lich. And, but yeah. But it turns out that their world is actually post-apocalyptic, because even though it looks like it's a fantasy world, it's actually based far off into the future from Japan. Because there was a scene where they were talking like a demon was being summoned, but it turned out to be a military helicopter. Which when I saw that, I'm like, whoa, what is going on here? But yeah, it kind of took me for a loop. I will recommend watching it if you're interested in it, but if not, then, you know. Next up is a bunch of Pokemons. There is regular Pokemon, Pokemon Advanced Generation, Pokemon Best Wishes, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, Pokemon Evolution, Pokemon Generation, Pokemon Twilight Wing, Pokemon XY, and of course XYZ. So, yeah. Pokemon has pretty much been a major part of my life ever since I was a kid. I mean, I've pretty much grown up with it. In fact, when it comes to gaming, Pokemon is really the only thing I really play. Because I never had really desire to own an Xbox or a PlayStation, but I always loved Nintendo because I love playing Pokemon. So Pokemon was a majority of my life just a solo game I play. And of course, being a big fan of that, I collected the cards and I watched the anime. Which, funny enough, I always thought it was a cartoon. It wasn't until later on when I grew up when I realized it was an anime. But yeah, I was there during the beginning of it all. I was there during Pokemon Yellow. I was there during the first series where Ash met Pikachu. All the way up to X, Y, and C. Then I had to drop it because XYZ had the worst ending I could ever see. Let me explain. Ash had a really good team lineup. I mean, sure, he had 3 flying types, but each one was unique. Like, you had Noivern, you had Talonflame, you had Hawlucha. He also had Goodra, Pikachu, and of course his Greninja, which had the special Battle Bond. And during the final finale, where it was between him and Alan, I believe? The one with the Mega Charizard X. I mean, it was down to his Greninja and his Charizard. Which, I know that Charizard is really powerful in this Mega Evolution, but still, you had a Greninja which is pretty much like a Mega Evolution. You cannot tell me that they didn't... Sorry, I'm stuttering. You cannot tell me that they couldn't took their make the decision to make Ash won that. But no, he ended up losing even though he had the perfect Pokemon. And then of course he ended up losing his Greninja, his Goodra, and then he goes to Sun and Moon where the animation kind of dropped. Because the XY and XYZ animation was fantastic. And then they done that, and then I was like, no, I'm done. I'm done with the anime. I'll just play the games. And wouldn't you know it, to add fuel to the flame, they made him run in the Sun and Moon. What the flip? I couldn't believe it. Why? Why? Like, they made him go to school for Sun and Moon, and then he won the Pokemon Championship. And he shouldn't have won. I think there was one episode where I thought they would have declared him as his loss, but then Pikachu came up and stuff and beat the other Pokemon. I don't know. My brain. I am just so upset over this. I can't believe they done Ash dirty like that for XY. Like, that would have been the perfect Pokemon series if it wasn't for the ending for that. I mean, it really would have. Give me a second, I gotta calm my nerves. don't get me wrong, I still love Pokemon, and I probably would have continued watching the anime, but it's just because of those key factors that I just couldn't continue on with it. I mean, if you guys think that it's a good idea to continue on with it, let me know. But as of right now, I just don't think I can handle it. Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the anime list. Okay, so skipping all the Pokemon stuff that I named off, you got Pop Team Epic. Think of it like the Americans' Mads, but anime style. It's really goofy and stuff. I was kind of like mad on it. Anyways, next up is Princess Connect Redive. Kind of similar to Konosuba in a sense, except this time the main character is somewhat useless, and you have the girls who are really powerful, and they always have to save his butt. I think my favorite character on that show is Pecorine. She's a really good one. I really love her personality. She's a good waifu. Then again, I also kind of like Kari as well, you know, the cat girl. I mean, yeah, she's a tsundere and stuff, but I really like her character, especially with her character development and stuff. Then again, Kokoro is also... Man, all three of them are so good. But Pecorine is my favorite. Anyways, oh, here's a good one. Problem children are coming from another world, aren't they? This one was kind of like another isekai kind of show that was developed early on in like the, was it in the 10s? It was somewhere around that. Anyways, you basically have like these three problem children and stuff that end up going into another world. They got like incredible superpowers and stuff, and they end up joining this guild with a bunny girl. Yeah. But I actually recommend watching that one. I actually liked it. Next up is Psycho-Pass. I kind of have mixed feelings on this one, because the first season was pretty good. The second season was kind of meh. But basically, it's set into a dystopian future where a special governmental system is able to predict whether people will become criminals or not. And because of that, they have a special select unit that's able to go out and arrest people. Which, thinking about it, that's kind of terrible. Because obviously, if y'all seen the anime, you know what I'm talking about. But having a system that tells you that you're going to show even though you haven't done nothing yet, that's kind of messed up. Anyways, Puya Magi Madoka Magica, or PMMM, or PMMM for short. This one is a really good magical girl series. I'm not much into magical girls, but this anime kind of made me second guess that option. Basically, you have Madoka, who is approached by Kyubey. Which, by the way, if you ever see that guy in real life, do not take the contract. Sorry, sore throat. Anyways, but yeah. Basically, it's like, I can make you into a magical girl. And all you gotta do is make a wish. But it's a trap. Because even though they're fighting against these creatures called witches, horrible things happen. The characters end up in horrible situations. And, poor Homura. She's like my favorite character and stuff, but that poor girl went through so much for Madoka. Anyways, now we are entering into the R's. Rage of Bahamut, Genesis. Fantasy world, they kind of have to stop the resurrection of Bahamut, which is like a powerful dragon. You have a thief character who is kind of like the key to unlocking that dragon. You have like this power. Was it a demon girl? I think it was a demon girl who's trying to resurrect the demon. I think. Anyways, moving on. Then we have Re Hamatora the animation. So on my previous stream, I talked about Hamatora the animation, which is basically like this kid who becomes a detective, but he has like this incredible super speed power, because in that world people could get superpowers, but they have to activate it on a certain way. And Re Hamatora is basically like season 2 of that. Anyways, moving on. Re Zero, starting life in another world. Another isekai anime. Man, I watch a lot of isekai anime. Anyways, you got Subaru, not the car, but the character, who has the power to where every time he dies, he's able to reset himself into a previous timeline. Think of it kind of like a video game. That is a superpower I would not have. No. Because every time he dies, it's very painful. And a lot of the characters, personalities that a lot of the characters that he has experience with, he has to restart it all over again every time he dies. This includes Emilia, Ram, and Rim. And some other characters too. By the way, Rim's my favorite girl. Best girl. Anyways, Wreckers of Ragnarok. So, if you guys are watching that on Netflix, it's basically a battle tournament anime where you have the gods fighting against the humans. And this is a battle that decides whether humans continue to live on for another 1,000 years or if they get annihilated. I wouldn't really say that it's one of my favorite animes, no. But it is entertaining to watch because, you know, what kind of a deep premise do you need when it's just a battle royale where you have a god and a human fighting against each other? Plus, it's kind of up my alleyway and stuff because, you know, supernatural, dealt with gods, all that stuff. Let's see, what's next? Okay, so, I know people are probably going to argue with me over this, but it is anime inspired, so I have put it on the anime list. And that is Ruby and Ruby Chibi. I know it's made here in America. I know it's technically not an anime, but I put it on the anime list because it's just so heavily anime inspired, okay? Okay. Anyways, Ruby is pretty much that 3D animation and stuff where you have like a fantasy world where hunters and huntress fight against Grimms. And you have the main character, Ruby Rose, who is actually my favorite character and stuff. Because she loves weapons, and in case you haven't noticed, I love weapons. Yeah. Where she goes to an academy to train to be a huntress. At least up to season 3. Then everything else kind of went out of whack from there. There were some seasons that has its highlights. Then there were some that doesn't. Me and a friend of mine from work kind of talked about this and what we think Ruby could be better at. But, you know, I'm not in the anime studio. I mean, I'm not in the anime production yet. Then, of course, there's Ruby Chibi, which is basically a spin-off series where the characters are chibi and they just pretty much do random stuff. Next up is the S, which is Samurai 7. This one was an anime that I watched back in the late 2000s and stuff. They're in wait, was it 2000s or 2010s? I know it was right before Toonami had to shut down before they reopened themselves later on. But I do remember the story. You basically have like a princess of a village and her friend that goes traveling off to hire 7 samurais to save their village from a group that's trying to buy out the village. Basically, it's extortion in a sense. And they was able to get 7 samurais, and they were able to defend their village. Everything else from that, I can't really remember. I do like it though. There was like this one big samurai dude who was acting like an obnoxious brat, but he had a heart of gold, man. He was really good, and I can't remember his name. But if I see him, I know who I'm talking about. Anyways, School Live. This is another cute anime that actually has a really dark undertone to it. Basically, you have like these girls who decided to create a school living club where they live at school. And on the first episode, it's so sweet, it's so nice, it's charming. You can never think that anything bad happens. Then it turns out that the main girl is delusional because they are actually in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, but she thinks that everything is hunky-dory and that they are actually living normal lives, while the other girls are trying to survive this zombie apocalypse. I was at a anime con when I learned of this. I went to one of the rooms and stuff where they were playing like animes and stuff, and I sit down because I think I was watching something else before it showed up, and I was like, I don't got nothing else to do, I guess I'll see what this one's about. Then that episode ended, I'm like, holy shit! Yeah, I gotta watch this anime. But yeah, I recommend this one, it's pretty good. Especially if you're into cute anime that turns out to have a hidden dark undertone to it. Next up is Seraph of the End. This one is kind of set into a post-apocalypse and stuff where vampires end up taking over the world and you have the last of humanity trying to fight back against them. And of course, you have the main character who lost his best friend. Not really lost because he's alive, but he's a vampire and stuff. And you have them duking it out and stuff. It's pretty good. Plus, there's a purple hair chick that I really like. Okay, so this is an anime that I kind of dropped. It's called Surfamp. I just really couldn't get into it later on and stuff. Like, I thought it was going to be like a cool vampire fighting anime and stuff, but it didn't seem to be pointing that way from what I saw. Of course, if it turns out that I'm wrong, let me know. Oh, right. 7 Deadly Sins. This is an anime that needs to have justice. The first 2 seasons was so good. You have the story of Elizabeth, trying to find the 7 deadly sins to try to take back her kingdom from the corrupt holy knights. And she ended up meeting them from Meliodas to Diane to Bon King, Gunther, Merlin, and so on. And then later on in season 2, after they saved their kingdom and stuff, they end up fighting against the resurrected demons, which are called the 10 Commandments. It was so good. But then you have season 3 and so on, where everything just kind of went to dog shit. Unfortunately though, I can't really blame the anime in this sense, because if I remember correctly, the story that I heard was like the movie didn't do that well, so the studio that was working on it gave it to the studio that makes Konosuba and stuff, and instead of them taking their sweet time, the studio told them like, hey, you need to make this within less than a year or so get to it. And they were able to do it, but it was sloppy work. So, and I don't know why did they censor the blood on there, man? tell the truth, it actually makes it look worse because, you know, it looks like something else. But yeah, it is a shame. It is a crime. And if it was up to me, I would do like a remake of Season 3 onward to give it more justice. But unfortunately, I can't do that. So, yeah. Tell the truth, Seven Deadly Sins was in my top 10, but I'm gonna have to redo that list because it's not in my top 10 anymore. Let's see. Oh, cheeky. Here's another vampire show, except this time it's horror. Basically, you have like this rich family group where they've been... Wait, I'm telling this wrong. Basically, you have a village that's kind of being plagued by vampires even though they don't realize it. And you have like the main character that's trying to uncover who they are and stuff. And he ends up becoming something else. Not a vampire, but something else. The one thing that kind of stuck out to me of this anime is like, yeah, you feel bad for the villagers because of the vampires and stuff. But then when you learn about the vampires and their tragic history, and then seeing them being offed off by the villagers, it's like, oh man, I don't know who I need to root for. Do I root for the people or the vampires? It's a heartbreaking anime. But actually my friend was the one that recommended me this one, and I'm glad she did. Okay, next up is Chimonetta, or in the English, The World Without Dirty Jokes, which I am slowly thinking that's how our society is becoming now. Basically, Japan has like this new type of government ruling where people cannot say anything that is inappropriate or dirty or do stuff like that, otherwise they will get arrested. This includes wait, I can't really give examples. Yeah, I really can't give examples. But anyway, so you have the main dude who meets this girl that's trying to protest against it and stuff. And it's a bit of a comedy with very inappropriate moments, but I like it. It's pretty funny. I won't share anything about this though because I don't want to get troubled with the YouTube and Twitch, but I would check it out if you're interested in it. If not, oh well. Next up is Sirius the Jaguar. Let's see. This one's like I cannot speak. This one is an undercover agency that deals with hunting down vampires. It's a Netflix series. And this is actually one of the shows that my friend also recommended me to it, and I'm glad she did, because I actually liked it. It was pretty good. Next up is Sky Wizard Academy. I cannot remember why, but you have the teacher that goes into academy that's trying to teach these 3 students who are considered the worst to try to become sky witches, which are able to go down to Earth and fight against these monstrosities. And oh yeah, society has to build like flying islands and stuff in order to live. Because apparently the land underneath them is so post-apocalyptic with monsters crawling all over the place. Let's see. It's not really a memorable anime and stuff. I was kind of like meh on it. I don't know why I put this down here in S's, but I think it's because I used the English name instead of the Japanese name, which I should have done. It's basically Jujutsu Kaisen, or in the English, Sorcery Fight. Basically you have Itadori and stuff who ended up having to save his friends from a curse, which are basically like living negative manifestations that become monstrous. And he ended up swallowing one of Sukuna's fingers, which is considered like a very high grade 2S curse. But he's able to control it and stuff. Think of it kind of like Naruto and Kurama. But and because of that, he's able to join into the Sususu Academy that's in I think it's in Kyoto. Or is it Tokyo? No, I think for some reason I'm thinking it's Kyoto. Oh well. But yeah, it's a really good anime and stuff. Maybe in my top 20. But anyways, next up is Soul Eater. This anime is pretty good. You basically have a world where students can become reapers. And they have they become meisters, and they hold like their special weapons, which are people that can turn into weapons, and they end up hunting down evil souls and witches. And of course, they're trying to make their weapon become the next Death Scythe for Death himself. It is a really good anime. I recommend it and stuff. Though I will admit, the ending was a bit rushed. They had like an alternate ending and stuff because that's not how the manga went. Which the manga is really good. I recommend reading it. Let's see, what's next? Oh yeah, Soul Eater Not. The anime where everyone thought it would be a continuation of Soul Eater, but it turned out to be a side series where it revolves around other characters before the events where Maka and them was the main characters. Next. Space Dandy. Oh, this one was pretty funny. Basically you have Space Dandy himself, as he does odd jobs, go around space, and always goes back to that Space Hooters. And oh yeah, it turns out that he's very OP for a character, even though he's absolutely clueless. What's next? Spriggan. Oh yeah, this is another Netflix series. Basically you have like this high schooler who is a trained mercenary and stuff, and he has to do odd jobs in order to keep the world safe from either terrorists or supernatural stuff. I kind of like it and stuff. I kind of hope there's another season, but if not, I'm fine with it because it's not really on up there and stuff, but it's still pretty good. Spy X Family. A sensational hit for the modern time. You pretty much have a spy called Twilight who has to create a fake family in order to stop a official from another country to start a war between his country and the West. And in order to do this, he ends up creating a fake family where he adopts a girl named Anya, who turns out to be a telepath, and he ends up marrying into a Yor, who turns out to be a powerful assassin. So you basically have these three families where they don't know each other's secret identity except for Anya because she's a telepath. It's comedy gold right there. That's when you know you have a good show right there because everyone loves it, including me. My voice is starting to sound hoarse for some reason. Anyways, Steins Gate and Steins Gate Zero. Basically, a time traveling show that involves a microwave and green bananas. You have the mad scientists who end up creating this and stuff, and turns out though that a lot of horrible stuff happens, and he tries to fix it every time, but it always seems to get worse, which will eventually lead to a terrible future, which he's trying to fix. And of course, Steins Gate Zero is like a second season of that and stuff, where they explore more into like stopping the future. Next up is Sword Art Online, Sword Art Online Alicization, and Sword Art Online Alicization War of the Underworld. Another isekai show, except they go into a video game. You have Kirito, who's the main character that ends up getting all the girls. But he's faithful to his girl Asuna. And of course, it's one of those things where they're trapped in a video game, and if you die in there, you die for real. But that's only for part of season 1, and then so on and so forth. Then you have Alicization, where Kirito in real life got attacked and ended up in a coma, and he has to go into like this full dive world that some scientists have created, which involves kind of like a medieval time and stuff, where he's trying to escape from that world. And then the War of the Underworld is basically like a second season of it that involves like a massive war. And oh yeah, you have mercenaries in the real world that are trying to steal the technology for that. What's next? Oh, we're in the T's now, which is terraformers. Basically, humanity is starting to get sick from a virus that comes from Mars. Scientists have sent a group to go to Mars to try to find the scientists, but they end up coming across giant humanoid cockroaches that wants to off humans. So you basically have a major fight between these terraforming cockroaches and humanity. It's one of those where it kind of had potential, but it kind of didn't went with it. Although if there's anyone that's afraid of cockroaches, I wouldn't recommend this anime. I would not. Unless I want to be evil. But yeah, I recommend it. Where was I? Oh yeah. Terror and Resonance. This anime was pretty good because of the animation. And the story of it was actually pretty good too. You have like these two teenagers that are trying to change their society by becoming terrorists. You know, now that I say that out loud, that doesn't sound really good. But yeah, I would recommend watching this anime if you're big into like emotions and stuff. I mean, if you're big into emotions. I cannot speak. Anyways, that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Let's see. Basically another isekai show, except the main character, who is Rimuru, who is a slime. But of course, throughout some shenanigans, he becomes really OP. He ends up becoming the leader of a nation that he created of monsters, and which led up to him being a demon lord. It's a really good anime. I recommend it, and I gotta watch the movie, man. I have got to watch that movie. Next up is The Ancient Magus Bride. I really like this anime. Let's see. Gotta look up the name of the characters. I know, but I can't help it. Let's see. Okay, so you have Chise, who is a high school girl that decides to sell herself to an auction because she kind of hated life and stuff, and she decided to throw her life away. But she ends up being bought by Elias Ainsworth, who is a mythical creature with a head of an animal skull. And this Magus ended up taking care of her, trying to give her education and stuff into both the natural and the supernatural, and had a thing about going on as his wife, but not really a wife kind of thing. But yeah, I really like this anime. It's a heartfelt one. I will recommend it to people. Let's see. What else? Oh yeah. This one is kind of like a movie, but it was split into 3 episodes, so I decided to put it as the anime series list. And that is the Ancient Magic's Bride again, but the Boy from the Rest and the Knight of the Blue Storm. Basically, you have Chisei in the Eyeless that is trying to help a boy, and trying to stop an incident that involves the Wild Hunt. Which is kind of funny, because I played The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Anyways, next up. The Devil is a Part-Timer. Basically you have Satan, who... It's a reverse isekai, where Satan left his world to go to modern Japan. And he's trying to build back power, but he ends up working at a off-brand McDonald's. Or how do they pronounce it in their world? I mean, in the anime? Let's see. It's a really good anime. I recommend it to people if you haven't watched it. It recently got a season 2, which I was honestly surprised. And it makes me hopeful for No Game No Life. But I digress. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, McDonald's. Okay, yeah. They work at McDonald's. But yeah. Anyways, a bunch of other stuff happens that involves like the hero of the world that wants to off him, but she's kind of like a Tsundere stalker, and it involves like other demons showing up, like Lucifer and all that stuff. Really recommend it. It's a good anime. Let's see, what else? The Faraway Paladin. This is the one that's kind of similar to Sword Art Online. But not really. I know they enter into like a video game and stuff, but there's kind of like a high stakes and stuff because the main dude is trying to find his girlfriend, which is she's kind of stuck in that game, and he's trying to save her and all that. Bunch of other stuff goes on. Although I don't know anything else that happens about it, because I think they only have one season. It was kind of What else? Future Diary, the Future Diaries. Basically a life or death battle royale where people use their cell phones that kind of like protects the futures and stuff. And if anyone is able to survive the game and be the only survivor, they win and they become the next god. And of course, you have the famous Yuki Tsundere. Oh man, you know. No for me. The Helpful Fox Senko-san, aka the Meddlesome Fox Senko-san. Slice of life anime where the main dude, he just got like negativity all over him because of stress from his job. So the 800-year-old fox goddess Senko decides to live with him and pamper him like a maid. If you're into slice of life animes, I kind of recommend this one. I like it. Plus Senko is so sweet. Anyways, the heroic legends of Arthur. Let's see. Fantasy world. You have a prince that has his kingdom under siege. You had like his royal servants who are trained warriors that help them escape. They're in the middle of a Persian-like war. It's kind of like one of those that's kind of mixed with fantasy and history. If you're into that kind of anime, I would recommend it to you. I think they have like 2 seasons, but I think that's it. What else? The Ones Within. Let's see. If I remember correctly, it's that one where these group of kids are kind of playing like these games and stuff because they're being viewed in stream and stuff. And there's a dude that hosts it that's got a llama head for some reason. It's a weird anime, but entertaining. Next up is The Prince of Tennis, basically a tennis kind of anime, one I saw as a kid and stuff. I kind of gloss over that because I'm not much into sports anime. The Promised Neverland. This anime needs to have justice big time. Like, even more than Seven Deadly Sins. I remember reading the manga of this, and when I saw it, I'm like, oh man, when this becomes animated, it's going to be so big. And I was right. With the first season. It was so good. Basically, you have Emma, Norman, and Ray, who discovered that their little paradise of an orphanage is actually a slaughterhouse where they are food to demons. And they try to escape, and they try to survive out there in the world while trying to go to the human realm. I mean, the human world. Sorry. The first season was a banger. It was so good. Season 2 looked like it was doing pretty good up until around season 3 or 4. I mean, episode 3 or 4. Then everything went to hell. Why? Why did they done it so wrong? Like, I know that they rush it so that way they can reintroduce Norman, but still they skip over the Goldie Pond arc. That was like my favorite arc because they had a fantastic premise with it, where you had demons that created like this little amusement park where they could have the demons from rich families go out and hunt the children. Then you had the main villain, Lewis. He was so good as a villain. And of course you had the two old people, which is like, what was his name? Hang on, I got it. Uh-oh. Sorry, battery getting low. Let's see, where's my charger? BRB. Sorry. Let's see. Where was I? Oh yeah, the manga for The Promised Neverland. The manga is really good. The ending was kind of spotty, but you know, it happens. I would still recommend it to anyone that wants to watch read The Promised Neverland. And anyone that wants to watch The Promised Neverland, I recommend watching season 1 and then going to the manga. Because, they did season 2 dirty. In fact, I think I heard a rumor where on the last episode, the animators didn't even give their names on the credit list because it was so bad. Which is no wonder. Why? Why? Why did they do this to it? Why? Oh well. No point in arguing about it now. The Rising of the Shield Hero. Another isekai anime where you have, what's the dude's name? I know there's Raphtalia. Raphtalia, which is a really good character. You have Philo, and you have, he starts with a T. Oh, no, Naofumi. It's Naofumi. Yeah, why did I think it was a T? But anyways, you have Naofumi, who ended up becoming a shield hero, into a fantasy world that turns out that hates him. because the king and her that framed him for a crime he didn't commit, and they keep dog shitting on him, man. They really do. But yeah. Then you have MILF Queen, who was able to clear his name. And of course you have the three other heroes who are completely useless. Like, Jesus Christ, the girls from Konosuba who are way better compared to those three. Anyways, it's a really good isekai anime. I would recommend it. Let's see. The Saga of Tanya the Evil. Another isekai show where the main dude ended up being sent to another world by God into a World War II era where he is reincarnated as a little girl. But she decided to stick it up to God because instead of learning from his old ways to where he was kind of a prick, she ended up becoming a military commander and stuff, and goes to war with invading other nations. You're talking about being petty, man. Man, Tanya's really petty. Okay. Wait. Oh my god. Okay, so, I gotta clear up a mistake that I just found out. You remember where I was talking about the faraway paladin, where it's kind of like a, going into a gaming world and stuff? I was wrong. That's the Silver Guardian. The faraway paladin is a fantasy world where the main kid is raised up by 3 undeads. And once he gets the rite of age, he decided to travel throughout the world and stuff and try to be a hero. That's that. I am so sorry to the fans of Faraway Paladin. That was my mistake. But hey, I can't help it. I watch so many animes, I might get 1 or 2 confused at times, okay? Okay. But anyways, like I said, the Silver Guardian, that's the one where, kind of like the gaming isekai anime where the main dude tries to save his girlfriend. Okay. We got that fixed? We got that fixed. Okay. This in here is kind of like a spin-off to the Reincarnated as a Slime. It's the Slime Diaries. That time I got reincarnated as a slime. This one's kind of like the everyday slice of life for Rimuru and his people. It's nice. Anyways, the world's finest assassin gets reincarnated in another world as the aristocrat. Or the short term, the world's finest assassin gets reincarnated. Another isekai show where the main dude, he's an assassin that ended up dying because the people that hires them decided to off him. But he gets reincarnated because the goddess wants him to off the hero who will later become the destroyer of the world. So you see him as a kid trying to devise the best method of assassinating the hero. It's pretty good for an isekai. Anyways, Thus Spoke Kinshibi Rohan. It's a spin-off of JoJo, except this one involves the diamonds are unbreakable because you have Rohan that kind of recalls some of his days of his travels. Okay, next up, To the Abandoned Sacred Beast. This one I kind of liked. Basically, you have a group of warriors who end up inheriting superpowers from fusing their DNA to mythological creatures. But after the war is over with, these people started to go on rampages because of the beasts within them, and the government that created them started to hunt them down. So you have the main character who's trying to avoid all this while trying to get his band back together, or whoever's left that isn't going insane. It's kind of like a sadish anime at the end, but I recommend it to people. Let's see, next up is Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. This one is pretty good. You have the main girl whose name eludes me at the moment. Oh yeah, Nene. You have the main girl Nene who wants to fall in love, so she asks the help of one of the 7 wonders of the school, the toilet-bound spirit Hanako, who turns out to be a boy. But because of some situations, she ended up getting cursed by mermaid scales, which is going to turn her into a mermaid. So because of this, Hanako and Nene have to be bound together, and they have to figure out some stuff that are going on with the other 7 wonders of the school. By the way, I got a question for that. Is the 7 wonders bound to one school in Japan, or is it bound to all schools? Anyone from Japan, you would care to let me know later on in the future, because I'm kind of curious about that. Because the way I see it in a bunch of animes, it seems like it's different schools, but I don't know for sure. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, Tokyo ESP. I think this one is about a girl that has like psychic powers and stuff. Hang on, I'm gonna have to look this up. I can't really remember this one all that much. Oh, okay. Basically, you have Rika, who works as a part-time waitress, who kind of seems like living a normal life, but it begins to fade when she sees a flying penguin? Let's see. Chasing after it, she sees more surprising encounters, including flying goldfish, but it turns out these are caused by a classmate, Asuma, who was able to see these strange things. One of the goldfish passed through her, which she wakes up with Esper powers, where she can phase through solid matter. Oh yeah, people are able to get psychic related powers by these random goldfish. Okay. Because of that, she became a new hero who was dubbed the White Girl, who is trying to save her city from other Espers who are kind of going out of control with their powers. Can't believe I forgot about that one. Good thing I got this list that I wrote down for him. Okay. This one here, we got Tokyo Ghoul and Tokyo Ghoul Re. This is the anime that seems to have like a very weird situation going on with it. Because you basically have King Kaneki. I'm probably pronouncing the name wrong, but please don't hold it against me. Because I always pronounce it Kaneki. But anyways, he ends up falling for a girl. Turns out the girl is a ghoul, which are man-eating monsters in their world that's able to grow like certain kind of tentacles from their backs. And an incident happened where Rias, no, it's not Rias. What am I thinking? It'll be funny if it turns out it was Rias. Oh, Rise. Hey, I was close. No, Rias is from High School DxD. What am I doing? Anyways, it's Rise. Kaneki ended up having some Arisa's body parts transplanted to him, making him kind of like a half ghoul, like the one-eye half ghoul. And because of this, he has to try to live a normal life within Ghoul Society. The first season was really good, followed the manga really well. Second season, they kind of went with another direction. Not for the better, personally. I didn't even give second season a shot because my friend was like, no, don't watch it. Then I saw Tokyo Ghoul Re, which is kind of like a continuation of Tokyo Ghoul with a time skip where Kaneki ended up joining the Ghoul Exterminators as Sasaki. But it kind of got plunged into the same thing where they made season 2, except they skipped some arcs. Why? I thought they would have learned their lesson from the first one. Guess not. I guess they wanted to try something else instead, but it turns out it didn't work one single bit. Yep. Ugh. Anyways, what was I? Oh yeah, Tokyo Ravens. I have to look this one up. I kind of forgot what this one's about. Oimado magic was a powerful technique which was used by the Japanese during World War One. You have the Tyson Fukin ritual, which eventually brings out Japan's formidable forces. This caused the Great Spirit disasters. You have Oimido. Darn my speech impediments. Basically, you have like these magicians in Japan. Let's see. They join the Onmyo Agency. The main character does. But yeah. And they fight against like the supernatural forces with Shikigamis. Oh no, wait. He's got a partner called Natsume that fights with Shikigamis. I tell you what, you just have to look at this one yourself to see whether or not you want to watch it or not. Anyways, Toradora. Oh man, this one was a good slice of life. You have Taika and Ryu, who are trying to help each other gain the love for their crushes, but later on the two end up falling in love themselves. I really like this one. I recommend it to people. Let's see. Plus it has some pretty funny dialogue in the dub. I mean, I can't say what it is, but just watch it. Next up is this one's not really a traditional anime, but it's anime themed, so I decided to go along with it. And this one is the Tessei. Or Tessei. Or Tessei. Trese. Basically, this one's set in the Philippines, where you have the main character who is a Trese, which is basically like a human that's able to enact with the supernatural creatures and stuff, and use magical powers. And she's kind of like a detective that has to solve cases that involve supernatural creatures. It's really one of those that is bloody and stuff, kind of like a horror kind of anime, but not really horror. I would recommend watching this one, and I hope they make a season 2 because I really like this one. Plus, it helps me study up on the Filipino mythos. Anyways, Trinity 7. Wasn't this one the one where the dude went to a sorcery school where he wants to be the Demon King, but he ends up getting a harem instead? I think so. I'll skip this one. Okay, we are finally done with the tease, and we are now going with you. And of course, this one has to be spelled with a name that I cannot pronounce whatsoever. Ulysses, Jenna the Arc in the Alchemist Knight. This was basically one where the main character is a alchemist, but he's down on his luck. But he ends up finding Jenna the Arc, which is kind of like portrayed as a little girl that wants to stop the war, but she's powerless. No, I think she turns out to be powerful, but she can't control her powers whatsoever. So the two join together and try to stop the war that's happening, like the 100-year French-British War. It's one of those that didn't turn out that good because it had like a weird ending that involved like unleashing an apocalypse or something, like a demon apocalypse. If you want to give it a shot, go on ahead, but you know. Next up is Unbreakable Machine Doll. Let's see. I remember watching this one and I thought it was pretty good, but I can't remember much of the premise of it. Let's see. Unbreakable Machine Doll. Okay, here's the plot. In an alternate historical version of the United Kingdom in the early 20th century, scientists have created a mix of technology and sorceries known as mecha art, which is basically putting spells onto objects to bring them to life and give them artificial intelligence. These automatons were developed as military weapons and spread throughout the world, and humans in charge of them, I cannot speak. In charge of these automatons are known as the puppeteers. And you have the main character, which is Raichi Akabane, comes to Japan to study at a Royal Academy for Machia art, along with his automaton, Yaya, which is basically like this girl. Let's see. However, he ends up entering into a competition in order to get revenge on a mysterious genius who was off by another member of his family. So this one was use your words, Q. Use your words. Basically, it's a revenge story. What else? Oh yeah. Usaki-chan wants to hang out. Another slice of life where you have Usaki who wants to hang out with Shinichi. Yeah. This one is kind of funny. It's a good comedy gold kind of anime. Plus, I kind of love how Twitter tried to cancel this show, but it didn't work out in their didn't work out for them whatsoever. I love it. I think that was one of the reasons why I watched Usaki, because I just wanted to watch it and give Twitter something more to pout about. Anyways, Vampire in the Garden. Alternate world where humanity ended up had to fight for survival and make city walls because of a virus that turns people into vampires. But the girl, who is the daughter of like a military commander and stuff, ended up being saved by a vampire after a raid on one of the cities, and the two ended up growing to become best friends and stuff while trying to survive in a world where vampires and humans cannot get along whatsoever. Oh, and their main thing is them trying to find a paradise where vampires and humans can live together, even though it doesn't seem like it's impossible. It's kind of like one of those sad animes. Oh, and speaking of sad animes, Violet Evergarden. You have the main girl Violet, who becomes emotionless because of her going into the military and stuff and fighting. She ends up losing an arm and stuff, so in order to learn what love is from a commander, she ended up joining a newsprint place where she tries to learn what love is. It's really a heart-tearing kind of one. They made a movie, but I don't think I watched it yet. Wait, did I watch it? Give me just a second. Give me a second. I swear, I cannot speak today for some reason. Nope, I have not watched it whatsoever. Let's see. Okay, and with that, we're now down to the W's. And down to the final stretch of the stream. Next up is when supernatural battles became commonplace. Ooh, I kind of like this one. You have a club where the main dude is a big weeb. No, he's a big Shinobu. Love Shinobu. Yeah, Shinobu, who wants superpowers. But his other club members are like, whatever, we're just here so that we don't have to do nothing else. But something happens to where all of them develop superpowers, and all of them and the other ones are really powerful, and the main dude not so much whatsoever, because all he's able to do is summon like flames, which doesn't even hurt. Turns out his power is OP though, because he's able to create like these black flames that can burn anything that touches, but unfortunately that involves himself as well. But yeah, it's a really good anime, and it's one of those that's kind of underrated. I would recommend it to people. I'm thinking about going back and watching that one as well. Let's see. Up next is Wizard Barristers. This one's kind of like a society where wizards exist, and you have the main girl that joins a lawyer agency that tries to defend wizards. That way they don't go to jail. Okay? Okay. Next up is World End. What do you do at the end of the world? Are you busy? Will you save us? What was this one about? Time to do my research. Oh, okay. This is that one anime where the... Let's see. Hang on, I'm still gonna have to look it up. I remember what it is now, but give me just a second. Okay. It has been over 500 years since the human race almost went extinct at the hands of fearsome and mysterious beasts. The surviving race now makes their hometown and cities up on floating islands in the sky to keep out of reach of all but the most mobile of beasts. Only a group of young girls, dubbed the Leprechauns, can wield the ancient duck weapons needed to fend off invasions from those dangerous creatures. Into the people's unstable and fleeting lives, where a simple call to certain death could, upon any moment, enter an unlikely character, a mysterious man who lost everything in his final battle 500 years ago and has awakened from a long, icy slumber. Unable to fight anymore, the man, William, becomes the father of those kids, and pretty much cares and nurtures for them. He feels pain from helpless waiting for a loved one returned to home from battle that his daughter once felt for him long ago. Together, him and the Leprechauns gradually become to understand what family means and what's worth protecting for. But yeah, this is the one where he ends up running an orphanage and stuff with these powerful girls, and a bunch of them's got like a bunch of different anime color hairs. Like, he's the one that looks the most generic, and then you have like these bunch of kids that have like a bunch of different hairstyles and colors. I kind of like this one. Though, like I said, I had to look it up to remember what it was about. Let's see. What else? World Break. Aria the World Break. Aria of Curse for the Holy Sword. Another school-based anime where kids that goes to it are reincarnations of previous lives, and they're able to summon superpowers from that. And the main dude ends up having 2 previous lives, so he's really OP. And he has a 2 girls that loves them. One of them is a reincarnation of a sister. And you have like a dark wizard girl kind of thing. This is the one where I had to really remember hard what it was about. And oh yeah, they fight against monsters. Monsters. I have got to get better at speaking, man. I have got to get better. See what I mean? I can't speak. Okay. Next. I want to give up. I really do, but I am in the long stretch. I am so close to being done. Okay. Yashahime, Princess Half Demon. Basically, kind of like Boruto, except Inuyasha version. And this one is better, personally. You got the Half Demon Princesses, which involves Higurashi, and Moroha, and Setsuna. I would recommend it if you're a big Inuyasha fan. Next up is Yasuki. What in the world was this one? Yasuki. Oh, okay. This is a Netflix anime and stuff. That's kind of like a anime telling of the samurai Yasuki. Okay. Except it involves like magic and machineries and all that stuff. Okay. Now I remember. I honestly forgot what that one was. Okay. Next up is 3 animes. Yu-Gi-Oh!, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. Do not make the choke. Do not make the choke. Anyways, basically Yu-Gi-Oh!, Yu-Gi-Moto, card games, monsters, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Next Generation with Cheda, and Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, which is basically card games on motorcycles. Okay, hang on, I gotta do the voice right. Card games on motorcycles. Okay. We are now down to the 2 final anime series, which is Zoid, which is basically a mecha show where the main characters ride in animal themed mechas. And you have Zombieland Saga, which I will admit I kind of dropped this anime because I personally thought that it was going to be like a zombie apocalypse survival kind of anime. No, turns out the main girl becomes a zombie and she has to be a pop idol in order to survive. I was disappointed. So disappointed. But anyways, with that is all 252 animes that I have watched. Or is watching right now. Oh man, what a long list. But yeah. I swear I have watched all of these animes. It's just like I said, there are some that I can remember off the top of my head, and then there are others where I couldn't remember. But yeah, And as you can see, I am a big fan of anime. I love anime. And even when I grow old and gray, I'm still gonna love anime. My grandkids, if I get any, are gonna be like, Grandpa, how come you still watch anime? You can only know whenever you watch it yourself. You're weird, Grandpa. Screw you, kids. I'm gonna go over here and watch my One Piece. But yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys liked the series that I did. If you want me to do more of stuff like this, let me know in the comments and stuff, like on YouTube or on Twitter. Let's see. Tell the truth, I could do more stuff like this for streams. Like, I could talk about the anime movies I watch. I could talk about all the cartoons I've watched. I can talk about all the manga I read. And so on and so forth. And so on and so forth. But anyways, like I said though, if you want me to do more stuff like this, let me know. And if I'm able to, I'm wanting to do YouTube videos where I talk about certain animes and kind of give my take on them. Because so far on this one, I kind of just talk about the animes I've seen and short summaries of them. But I really want to do in-depth analysis on these animes. But that could be for another time. For now though, thank you for joining me on this wonderful magic show. I hope you all enjoyed as I talked about the animes that I have seen and shared with you tonight. Like and subscribe to me on YouTube so that, why? Anyways, if you want to, like and subscribe to my YouTube, that way you're able to get caught up on the latest videos. Subscribe to my Twitter, that way you're able to see me announce when I'm doing my streams or doing posts, etc. And also watch me on Twitch as well, because that's another platform where I do my streamings. Anyways, with that, I am officially closing the show, and until next time, bye bye, see ya, so long, see you later, alligators. Okay, bye.